Hey guys,
Hello.
here we are again
Just
with
laying on the floor.
laying on the floor with Alex,
And Lainey.
having 3 herniated discs with Alex.
Not a fun time. But it can be
Sorry.
fun.
Yeah, well, we try to make it fun, don't we?
Yeah, well, we did this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, we took a trip. You laid in the back with all the seats down, right?
Yeah.
So you could be comfortable.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You make a way.
Yeah, you got to see your brother and your nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we went out to dinner, you laid in the field
I got to lay by myself.
and we brought you your food. But at least there was music on.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. It was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, ATX always has music.
Yeah.
So today is our second installment on self-esteem, and specifically building self-esteem. We know, that self-esteem is intertwined with self-perception and self-dignity, standing up for yourself, and all those kinds of things. Standing up for yourself seems to be a reflection of your self-esteem, maybe. We don't know for sure, but would love to hear your thoughts on the matter. Confidence. How does confidence impact, or does self-esteem impact confidence, or the other way around? I love that Jason Mraz song that says, "May you have the confidence to always do your best." And I think that that's true, and that's a real thing, at least for me. In order to do your best, you need to have confidence that you can do it. Right, Al?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so a high level of confidence a lot of times will translate into your performance in life and in your job, and, et cetera, et cetera. It's self, it's intuitive. But there's no real measure of self-esteem. And so we're going to try to make it a little bit more tangible. And so we wanted to start off with a couple of examples. One was where Alex stood up for herself in what could conceivably have been a difficult situation, right, Liv?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was very uncomfortable. So basically what happened was I think it was the first time in my life one of the first times that I've done it to a stranger. So I was walking down my street, minding my own business, and this person who was working in the garden at my neighbor's house just started making this noise at me, like, and that like, and it wasn't like, but it was, which is the Latin American way of. Mm-hmm. So to me, that was very triggering, because when I was younger, that happened. Like when I was 6 or 7, I was at an amusement park, and someone,
in Pittsburgh,
yeah,
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and someone went, and I was like a little kid. Mm-hmm. And so now that I was an adult, it was very degrading, and my daughter was behind me. So I was thinking, no, like, this is not going to go on.
Yeah.
And so I didn't do anything at the time, but I was really mad. Mm-hmm. And so then I went to my parents, and I was talking to my dad, and he was like, hey, that's not okay. If you see that guy again, or next time that happens, you need to say something. And it's like, what the heck? How do you say something? So, of course, the next day I was coming home in the car, and it's so creepy. Like, I was in my car, and the person, like, he just locked eyes with me, and, like, it was, ugh. I just felt really creeped out by it.
Yeah.
And really mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm not an object. Mm-hmm. And so I was just remembering what my dad said, and I got home, and I was like, what's your name in Spanish? And I walked over there, like, very straight to the point.
Yeah.
And then he was like,
CEO.
wait, and then he was like, why? And I was like, because you keep staring at me and you keep making noises at me. And he made a noise at me the other day, and that's not okay. And it turns out his boss was there. And so his boss, who's the owner of the company, was like, is there a problem? And I said, yes, this is a street where we respect each other and we look out for each other. We don't, just make these noises at each other. That's very degrading to women.
Yeah.
And, and so then the boss was like, that's not okay. And in our country, we do that. And I was like, well, that's fine if you do that there. In this country and this street, we do not. And I left there feeling really empowered and just kind of like, yes, like I did it. I stood up for myself.
Yeah.
And so that was my story.
Yeah. It's important and it's not easy. And I think a lot of times what happens is, somebody crosses that barrier or that boundary, and in the moment, you're more than anything like confused by it.
Oh my gosh, because that happened to me like a few years before that, and I said nothing because I was so confused. Like, this person said something very inappropriate to me, and I didn't say anything. And it was actually another family member that told a different family member who could do something about it, and it was had I had the same self-confidence that I have now. After going through therapy and doing a lot of work on myself, I feel like I would have said something in that moment if I were the same person now, 10 years ago or 15
Whenever
years ago when that
was.
happened, at the beginning of my career.
Yeah. I think it's also, it catches you off guard and it's surprising, and so you don't always have a ready answer or a ready reaction in the moment that's going to, handle the situation, that's going to be, I don't know. I don't even want to say respectful. I don't even know if, you need to respect that other person. I'm not quite clear about that. But
you just need to set a boundary.
Yeah.
But in a healthy way.
Yeah. I mean, then there's part of you that wants to punch him in the nose, and you sort of, slap that down, that it's like the fight or flight thing.
Or freeze, fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times we get frozen because it's like, oh crap, that person just crossed my boundary. I feel embarrassed, or I feel, humiliated, or I feel confused. I don't know what to do. And so you freeze. And then later you feel like you realize like, oh crap, it affected my psyche. It affected how I feel about myself.
Right.
And then like me, I was first of all, I talked to different family members about it. And it wasn't until I talked to my dad and he was like, well, that's not okay. And like another family member disagreed with me, and I was like, what the heck? I had to set it for myself. It was for myself, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to my other friend, and she was like, oh my gosh, I hate it when people do that. And it's like when I talked to the guy, obviously I know he did it, and it's not to toot my own horn, but he was like, you're so beautiful. And I said, yes, and my neighbor over here is more beautiful. And no, like we don't do that on this street. And and then I was talking to a different friend, and then he was like, well, would you rather have that problem, or would you rather not be beautiful? And it's like,
you don't understand.
yeah, it's like you've never been in that situation. It's hard.
It
stinks.
It is. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
That you did that, and good for you also that you were able to have a second shot at it.
I know.
Because a lot of times that doesn't happen. It's over, it's gone, and you missed it. And what happens is your self-esteem goes,
that's right,
down the toilet because you allowed yourself to be, to be, I'm going to call it abused.
Objectified,
you allow yourself, you allowed yourself to, and,
and that happened in college. That happened. And I remember I said something to my professor, and it was voyeurism. It was, disgusting.
Oh, jeez.
And, yeah, she said, you were objectified, and it's the worst feeling.
It is.
And I thank God I've not like actually been abused physically, like to the point that I know other people have.
Yeah.
It's just like emotionally abusive.
Right. And the thing is,
And psychologically. Yeah.
that little bit, can really tear you down, but also that little bit can lead to a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And, because you lose sight of where the line is, what line they crossed and where it is. So I really am not clear about how you do it. I mean, do you remain on the offensive all the time? Are you always on the offensive looking
and then
for...
you get aggressive.
Yeah.
Like I used to be super aggressive. And I don't think it was healthy. Like, it was because I myself was hurt. And, we were talking about my self-esteem a little bit ago. And it was just like, how did I get to a point to have a healthy, like, confident self-esteem? I think in the past, I had false confidence because it was, like, overly aggressive because I was wounded because of things that had happened to me. And now it's healthy because I'm, like, complete, and I have a better understanding of love and of myself and of who I am and, like, my purpose. And I'm living from that place instead of, like, rah, because it's like, oh, I don't want that to happen again. So I'm going to, like, go out and hurt other people.
Who's going to do it
I know,
now,
like
today?
What we were talking about before when I was a bully. Because honestly, like, when I was younger, I was a bully. And if I bullied you, I really apologize. Never meant to hurt anyone.
You were a kid yourself.
I was hurt, and I was a kid, and I was foolish. Yes.
Yeah. So, and
What about
I
you?
envy your confidence. I do.
Oh.
You're my hero and my role model. And
Aw.
sorry, it's the wrong way. It should be
Oh,
you
no.
saying that about me.
Shut
but
up.
no. That's why you're my amazing Alex, and that's why we do this to begin with.
You're so sweet, Mom. I love you.
Oh, I love you too, darling. And so thinking about self-esteem and the fact that there's no, I'm sure that there are tools out there to measure it, like tests that you would take to figure out where your self-esteem is and all that. But
yeah, you can't quantify it.
Yeah, right.
It's subjective.
It is. And so I've been thinking about ways to make it a little bit less subjective. And here's my story. So when I went on a bunch of mission trips, years ago, and when I first went on this mission trip, you get thrown with a group of people that you don't know well, and you're going to live with these people. You don't know them well; they don't know you well. You get thrown into a situation that you've never been in before, a foreign country. The level of, usually it's some level of poverty, and you're going there to help these people either by building, construction work or other things. These were construction trips. They weren't like medical or anything like that. And what I found was I was a little bit nervous about going, but I didn't know what to expect. And when I got there, I had a very brief moment of feeling so out of my depth, just completely, befuddled by the whole scene. And so it turned out what I fell back on was, I don't have any construction skills, although I can dig. We had to make cement, it was like cement and water and stuff like that. And we had to mix it. But what I fell back on were some skills that I already had. One was cooking, because the sweet ladies at the church would cook for us every single day. And the other one was Spanish. And so I became like the group translator. And actually, I got out of all the work because I was busy translating. And
which is actually the most important thing, because you can't, if you think about, anyway, that's a very important skill, and it's a necessity.
Yeah.
So good for you.
And so it ended up, really building my self-esteem, because I was the best, Spanish speaker of the group. I got to interact with the pastor and the people in charge of the project, and just, it really built my sense of my own self-esteem. One of the things I was telling Alex earlier is that, that song, May You Have the Confidence to Always Do Your Best. Well, I never really wanted to do my best because I always felt like it was going to make somebody else feel less than or inferior. And, there's a lot to that, and it's not 100% what I did, but it was something that was sort of in the back of my mind. But I came out of this experience, this mission trip experience, thinking that one of the things that helps build self-esteem are skills. And so I'm working on building some skills. Pickleball, I've talked about before. I do play the piano, but I hadn't played in like 20 years, and so I'm doing a little bit of that again, working up to, be able to play a song from start to finish. Let's see, and of course we're learning Italian. Alex and I are taking Italian. Alex is really good at it. I feel like but it doesn't matter, because we want to do it.
And honestly, I just make up words. I just take the Spanish, say it with an Italian accent, and hope for the best.
But she does, she's real good about just speaking it out. And the instructor that's in Italy, on FaceTime and stuff, she always gets it. And what the instructor really likes is when we just converse. She'd rather not do a lesson, although she fits that in as well. She just wants to converse. And Alex, is a wonderful conversationalist. Like our friend at Starbucks said to me, I just love talking to your daughter. She's so much fun to talk to. And so, that includes in Italian too. She kind of does the same thing. But anyway, so one thing that a goal that I have for myself, something that I want to do is write a song.
That'll be good.
Yeah. And in fact, we talked about it the other day. And when I left, I turned on NPR and they were talking just about that, about how people write music. And when it was talking about creative people in general, and what they had said was, this guy wrote a book about it, and what he said was the hardest thing is having that blank page in front of you. That's what all these artists said, whether it was, painting or whatever kind of art. And so the first thing you have to do is just start. However, you start, and you can always scratch it and redo it or rewrite it or rework it or whatever. But the main point and the main thrust of what I heard was just start. And so I think we'll do this experiment as an experiment. See how it goes. See how it goes, and see if it actually does something to mine or our
Well, I'm not going to write a song. I'm going to write a book.
Okay, that's a big undertaking.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you get the blank page when you get to
Didn't
start
you
with
already
page
start
one.
the book?
I did start the book. Yeah,
There you go. It's already started.
Yeah,
I actually have the journal. I already wrote the name of the book, The Human Experience. That was like 4 years ago. I don't know. I will try.
Yeah,
I'll do my best.
Okay, and if you get a chapter, that would be great.
There you go.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I mean,
start
even
small.
this thing, if one person watches it, that's great.
I know.
If a lot, great. If people like it, great. If they don't, okay.
Yeah.
Don't watch it.
I had somebody come up to me in the store the other day and tell me they liked it.
Oh,
so that was fun. Yeah, that was really fun.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So if you like it, let us know. If you don't, keep it to yourself.
Exactly. All right.
All right. Well, we love you. Bye.
Bye.